Welcome to Valerie's Real Talk podcast. My name is Valerie Smith and I'm your host. Today is episode 52 and I'm going to speak to you on what it means to own it and be consistent. And the reason for having this conversation is because I feel that a lot of people are dimming their light. And when I say that, it's because we're worried about what other people think. And when you own it, and you know it, and you're a master at what you know, you have to be consistent. And I'm pretty sure you heard about that if you master a skill for 10,000 hours, you have mastered that skill. But however, it seems that with people, when they see a person excelling in a skill, they want them to take a back seat, let others shine. How can you tell a person who put 10,000 hours plus into a skill that they love, that they do so well, to take a back seat to others who are not shining? I'm here to let you know that if you're a leader in your own way, and you are showing some things that people can learn from you, keep shining, keep growing, because those individuals that are telling you to dim your light, they're watching you. They're watching you so close that they're also not liking what you do. But they like what you do. Do you get it? It's confusing. But however, people have a way with words. Instead of them being happy for you, they are envious of you. However, you cannot worry about those individuals, because when you do, you stop growing. You start doing other things and not pursuing what you're made for, which is your gift. Many people don't understand that we all are different. We have our own individuality, meaning that you're probably skilled in one area, that other person is skilled in another area. However, you all can come together and explore how your gifts can help that business or that project, whatever that is. Try to work things out and not trying to dim other people's light because you cannot do what they do. It's just that everybody is unique. And when you're consistent in what you do, it shows up every day in your life. And that's why you have to have autonomy. And autonomy is ownership on what you do in your everyday life. Now, that could be personal life, your professional life. When we're consistent with our personal life, that could be healthy lifestyle. It could be something that you do with your family. Even if you're single, maybe you do some kind of self-care, because we can't ignore, yourself individually, because we all going to have to take care of somebody, even when you're single or you're married. But however, you have to pay attention to yourself. You have to live intentionally and what you want to bring to the table that you want to own. And that is your time. Time is of the essence, because you cannot get it back when it's wasted. So I tell people, get you a time blocking calendar. Block some time out for yourself and block some time out for those extra activities, work, if you're working, or if you have your own business. I think time is an asset. It's a beautiful thing. Time and space, because you have 24 hours in a day. You sleep for 8 hours, you get up, you still have 16 hours. So if you work 8 hours, what are you doing with the rest of your 8 hours? So remember that. You sleep for 8 hours, you work or you do your business for 8 hours, and ask yourself a question. What are you doing for the remainder of your 8 hours? That's why you have to have autonomy in your life. You have to own it like nobody's business, honey. And it's very important to do that because you have something that's unique. You have a gift, and people will try to dim your lights. They will try to dim it. But you have to work against the spiritual warfare that's happening today. Our world is dark, people. If you look on your computer, every time you turn it on, you see some bad news. And I remember back in the day, I used to go to Google, and I think that's the best thing to do because I don't see any news. But when I end up going on another browser, all I see is news. I'm like, oh my God. And I don't want to see bad news. I want to see something that can grow me and to be intellectually. Maybe they could be talking about love or exciting news. But we have to own that. We have to own what we look at. And if we're looking at bad stuff, now you have to think to yourself, I know we need to be up to date on what's going on in the world. But however, it doesn't have to be part of the fabric of who you are. You can look at it, see what's going on in the world, and turn it off. Because remember, you have the same 24 hours that everyone else has. And it's very important to me that you guard your time, you guard your mind, and your heart. Because why? I want you to use your time wisely. I want you to have autonomy. I want you to be consistent in your everyday living. Me, I've been very consistent with my podcast, and I know many people are on Thursday. I'm still on Wednesday, and I know this podcast is coming out late, but I always promise to have my podcast go out either if it's at night or in the evening. My time has switched a lot. I have a lot going on during the day. And so I decided that, I'm probably going to shift it back to 5 a.m. that everybody's used to. But I owe it to you and to myself to be consistent and own my podcast, honey. Because it's all about growth. It's all about you living your best life. Being consistent. Knowing who you are and your purpose. And to make sure that you have autonomy. And autonomy, I know people say, what is that? And that is to own it. Own it. Don't let nobody have you dim your light. You shine. You tell people who you are and believe it. And don't let anyone tell you need to stop doing this, you need to stop doing that. That's nothing but a fantasy. No, in your mind it's a fantasy. But this is who I am. And I'm going to have autonomy, and I'm going to show up for myself, and I'm going to be consistent in everything that I do. So your homework today is I want you to think about the things that you do, that you have autonomy. What are you consistent with? And show the world who you are. And if there's something that you've been trying to work on and put out in the world, write it down and make a plan and release it, because somebody needs to hear you. Because why? You're teaching people to own it, be you, shine, and be consistent. I want to say thank you for joining me tonight, and good morning and good afternoon wherever you are in the world. But here in Chicago is evening. And I want to say thank you for joining me today for Valerie's Real Talk podcast. And I look forward to seeing you next week for episode 53.